Welcome back, peeps, to episode 8 of What Now? So, asking questions is such a vital part of a human's development, but at some point, many of us forget how to ask the right questions in order to get the answers we truly seek. This task kind of seems like an odd thing to address, since we've been questioning since we could verbalize what we want. However, it is actually very difficult to ask the correct questions. Have you ever gone on Google to search a specific something, and it doesn't matter how many times you switch the sentence around or try to use different words, good old Google still can't get you the exact answer you're looking for. This is because the more complex the search, the worse we get at asking the correct questions. I mean, in the beginning, it's pretty simple. You search for an apple crumble recipe, and it's super easy because all you have to say is apple crumble recipe, and boom, you've got the recipe ready to go. But as you start searching for more complex things like why is it so hard to be a girl, the answers start getting weird, and at the end of the search, you think you have cancer and diabetes because, WebMD. So in this episode, I'm going to be teaching you 2 things. 4 ways to help you search on Google to get the answers you're actually looking for, and how to ask the right questions in general so that you can apply it to your life. But before we get to the how-tos, we have to get through the but whys. The first and most obvious thing is to find the right answers to your questions. Number 2 is that it helps you make more accurate decisions. Number 3 is that it helps shape the way you think into a problem-solving mode. And the last one is that asking the right questions now helps you avoid complications at a later stage. Okay, now that I've satisfied those who have to know why they're doing something before they do it, and I've totally bored the ones that just wanted to get the answer, let's get into the how-tos. So 4 ways to help you with Google searches. So the first thing to do is to start simple, then add descriptive words. So for example, you can start with what is needed to find a job, and then you can add a descriptive word like what is needed to find a job in tech. So the second tip I have is to use quotation marks. To search for something specific, use quotation marks around the words or the phrase so that Google searches those words in that specific order. Because with Google, if you don't put the quotation marks around the phrase, then it searches for all things related to the words that you type. So for example, if you follow a person called Fashion Blogs and you type that in with no quotation marks, it'll search for all blogs related to fashion and not that person's specific handle. Tip number 3 is don't sweat the small stuff. Don't worry too much about grammar and spelling. Don't butcher the word you're using by typing something so misspelt that Google wonders if you're a robot, but you don't need to be a grammar Nazi either. And the last tip is search tools. Good old search tools. These help you by filtering your search to what you need. For example, if you're looking at how to bake an ice cream cake, you can go to images, recipes, videos, and even news, because maybe you're not a fan of reading and would rather have a video explain how to bake. Part 2 of this video is how to ask the right questions for life in general. So the first thing you need to do is to ask yourself, what is my intention? Are you looking for advice or a better, larger understanding of a subject, or are you looking for facts? What is it that you want to find out by the end of your search? For example, if you're looking for a job in tech, what are the things you need to know in order to reach that job? Tip number 2 is to open conversation. Instead of asking simple yes or no questions when you're talking to someone, ask questions that will force conversation, like why is this your favorite place, or why do you do what you do? Number 3 is start with the bigger picture. Start with more general questions first. For example, if I was asking my audience, I would start with what brought you to these videos, and then maybe filter down to what are you here to find out, and why is your current path not working? Another example is, say you want to become the CEO of some company. How can you become the CEO? What are the general responsibilities? How long will it take you? What needs to be accomplished? When you start with the bigger picture in mind, it helps you filter down to more specific answers. And for my last tip, I have the 1 question, 1 point system. Craft your questions so that each has 1 point you're trying to answer. For example, you start with, why is the sky blue? And later you find out it's due to the way that light filters through particles that makes the sky look blue. And then you can ask, what are particles? This gives you a more accurate answer that will be more well-rounded. And that's another episode done and dusted, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned for the next episode.